Just pulled up at the Tikal National Park parking lot. If you come to the park without like someone who can talk to you, tell you about all the features of the park and the history of the Mayan people, you'll basically have no understanding of the place and its history. So Tikal, Chichen Itza, all these places, you basically can't go to them without getting a tour guide, or you're gonna be missing out on everything. Are you excited, Tanya?
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Need more coffee.
How long have you been doing this, Omar?
Hi world. I've been doing this for 9 years.
Nice.
Jungle tours, Tikal, Yaxha, Huachactún. We have so many archaeological sites, and I invite everyone to come and visit Guatemala and this region of Guatemala to visit Tikal.
So we're gonna put a link for his information on how to get a hold of him, and so you'll be able to book a tour with him if you choose to come over here to Guatemala and see Tikal, which if you come to Guatemala, you definitely have to come to Tikal. He was saying that there's only like a few centimeters of dirt normally over here over the ground. So they actually would peel back and it would just be limestone white floors. And they had huge roads, like 60 feet wide, that were built before even Romans built roads. They were one of the first civilizations to actually start building roads. Park is surrounded by wildlife. You can see there's swampland right here, crocodiles. It's believed to be that there's 600 or 700 jaguars around here, and they're huge, like 200-pound cats, and they have the second strongest bite in the world. No drones, huh? So unfortunately, they won't let you fly drones because there's these endangered falcons that nest on the top of the temples. After a couple falcons got injured, they decided to ban drones for the safety of the wildlife in the park. 10 minutes into the walk, 80-something degrees and 90% humidity, so they're just like dripping sweat already. So what's the total, like you walk around, you said 4 miles in a tour?
4.5 miles, 5 miles sometimes
okay.
6 miles, sometimes 3.
Yeah, not including like the stairs, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But you make like 25 floors if you climb most of the buildings.
What is this one, Omar?
So this one is Temple of the Great Jaguar. It measures 45 meters, 115 feet approximately, and it was built 700 AD by a ruler known as Akakao. This is a common name for this ruler of Tikal, but his proper name is Hasao Chan Kawil. He built it not only to pray, but to measure Venus cycle. Yes, every 8 years, Venus is on top of the building in certain December 21st. Venus, the planet, was the war god for the Mayan civilization. And every time Venus was aligned with a building, they went to war. They built aqueducts under these buildings. An example about that is right there. There's one aqueduct over there. So all the water that fell on these courtyards captured and taken out and stored in a Mayan reservoir that is on the other side of these buildings. The courtyards that we see right here, according to experts, were used for their education, for recreation and education of those kids and nobles.
So this might have been like a school?
This was a school, and part of the buildings were a residential buildings. In between these buildings there are chambers, and part of the chambers are bedrooms, and few of them are toilets, and some of them are closets.
Can you go inside any of them?
We will go inside.
Really? Wow.
Yes, we will go inside. There are so many open, and we will not go to every of them because then we'll take the whole day in here. 700 AD. So far it's 1300 years old.
How does the wood last that long?
It is as hard as iron wood. And then the water is better than iron because it doesn't get rusted, it lasts longer. They were smart by using wood instead of limestone because limestone is 3 degrees of hardness. This wood is a little harder than that, 4 degrees. So if they had placed the limestone beam here, it would have cracked and crumbled down already, you see? Yeah, so please come inside. I invite you to see a Mayan bedroom chamber. If you don't see the whole ceiling in this chamber, is because the archaeologists in the very beginning made a lot of mistakes. They didn't know how to make the proper excavations in these archaeological sites because they never done that before. And Tikal is characterized to be the first archaeological site that was excavated in Guatemala and in the Mayan territory. So they made a lot of mistakes. When they were pulling out the roots of these gigantic trees that were on them, they destroyed the limestone and the ceilings. You see, that's why we are missing the ceiling of this building here. But we're supposed to see a ceiling like this part and a window. This is a Mayan bed. They made mattresses from cotton, from the ceiba tree with the big one we saw there, and
No
from
way.
the regular cotton we know now. Because cotton is endemic to here. Now we find it in the US and different parts of the world, but cotton was common for the mines. They never wear animal hides. They were wearing cotton clothing, handmade clothing.
So these were like, who would be here? Priests?
Priests, the rulers, the astronomers, the mathematicians, the scribes, and the bodyguards lived here.
Did they have a king?
They had a ruler, or
A
like
ruler,
a king, yes.
okay.
They ruled for 20 to even 50 years. The ruler who built the big temple there, he ruled for 52 years in Tikal, like at
The Jaguar one?
And the type of government was theocratic, like based on religion.
Oh my.
Welcome to the center of my office. This is the center of my office here. So it's known as the Grand Plaza. It's the most excavated part of the city of Tikal. This is where the archaeologists focus their studies and excavations because they thought that by studying this big place here, they was going to understand the Mayan civilization. But it wasn't like that. Their thoughts were wrong because later they realized that there are older cities in the Mayan territory here in Guatemala.
Were these tombs right here?
No, the building we see down there is a ball game court, but it's the third smallest ball game court from the Mayan territory.
Yeah. So how old was the game?
It started 1500 BC. Yeah, and it stopped being played until the Spanish conquered the Mayan territory. If they had to be sacrificed, they wanted to be sacrificed because for them dying was only the transition of the material life to the cosmological life. And besides that, they were not afraid of death. They believe in rebirth. Even in Tikal, right there, they found evidences about rebirth. Some of the tomb skeletons were found in fetal position, which means rebirth.
How you doing, babe?
Good.
Nice and sweaty.
No, that's you.
Check out the courtyard.
A replica one, a modern, a contemporary altar. It was built in 2002 for the Mayan descendants to have the chance to still worship their ancestors and gods in Tikal. Since 1996, Tikal became one of the most religious spots in the world. It is as religious for us what the Vatican is for the Italians or Europeans. Yes, it's as important for us as what Taj Mahal is for the Indians there.
So this is the most iconic temple. It's known as the Jaguar Temple or Temple 1. And it was where they found the famous jade mask. And it's also the symbol of Guatemala, where you'll see, when you see Guatemala in Tikal, this is normally the pyramid you'll see. I mean, this is the nutsest place I've ever seen in my life, guarantee. And been to a lot of different places, including like Rome and Angkor Wat. And this is just incredible. Imagine when they found that thing, you know, just excavating it.
This is like finding 1 ton of gold for archaeologists.
I know, this is like what you live for probably as an archaeologist, you know.
Exactly.
So this is the face of the rain god?
This is the face of the rain god, yes.
And one of the oldest things in Tikal?
And one of the oldest temples, 200 BC. But beyond this mask and the wall of this building where it is on, there is another temple, and we're about to see that. The oldest layer of construction. Remember, that's one layer. That's the second building ever built in this spot of Tikal, and this is the first one. And the steps to the chambers of the first buildings are right here.
And that chamber is a burial or no?
No, it's a temple.
Temple,
This is the main part of the temple.
So did they have slaves or no?
They had a slavery,
like a lower...
but it was a religious slavery they had. Like, I mean, commoners were slaves of their religion. Because so far no evidence that these people were working, be obligated.
That's kind of what they think about the pyramids in Angkor Wat nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. If you are religious, you do anything for your community. It flew to the next tree.
We got Elmer the bird whisperer here.
Right there. The toucan is right there. Right there. He's jumping.
No. See the toucan? What are we seeing, Elmer?
Toucan Sam. Flying bananas. That's how we call it. But take a look. The toucan is right there.
We're in the heart of Toucan Village.
Yeah.
Was coming down the stairs and did the slippery foot gringo on the step, twisted the ankle. Dang near thought I broke my ankle. Thing just went like crack.
But then we just saw toucans and monkeys, so it totally made up for it.
We are heading to the top of Temple 4, which is a famous spot in the world because of George Lucas. He went to the top in 1976 to film part of Episode 4, the oldest movie of Star Wars. From up here, they filmed Millennium Falcon coming from the Death Planet.
What is that?
It was my bag in the back.
Oh, thought it was a jaguar.
The jungle is the one you see in Apocalypto. Wow. And the city, right? Also in Tikal, they filmed Tarzan, 1935. The original one, when we had no color, TV no color. This is the Red Rock National Park.
Oh yeah, I went to many things.
Yeah. I heard that this is
Temple 4.
Okay.
See that their eyes are so close to each other, and this is what basically gives them precision when they are jumping from a tree to another, or when they are walking on the branches of the tree.
Yeah.
Some of these chambers down here at the foot of the building, they are toilets, but you'll never see a hole there. They defecated on pots, and then they shipped them away from the city, and the feces was burnt. And then the residue was used as a fertilizer because they didn't want to, pollute their water.
Yeah.
Yes, that was used for drinking or for swimming. So the feces was one of their best way to fertilize this land that has a very thin layer of topsoil, as we were talking before.
So they grew like a lot of corn and stuff, right?
They grew corn and squash and beans and chili pepper, tomato, sweet potato, and potato later that was introduced by the Incans to their territory. And also different types of squash. Cotton, that is part of their crops that they planted around for clothing, and cacao for a sacred drink during the rituals.
This is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. In between the stones there is mortar. So they got the trees and they placed them in a kiln. And then they placed the stones in the kiln. And then they had to reach 1,000 Fahrenheit to make the limestone to crumble, to turn into powder. And then later to be mixed with water and sap to make it sticky, to stick the bricks. What impressed from here is not the size of the stones, but the way they built it and align it to the astros, align it to the sun, align it to the moon, align it to Venus, and to the polar star, the trader's god, and to the Pleiades, the 7 sisters. This is what impressed.
Wrapping up the time at Tikal over here and walking out like an injured gazelle, but had an amazing time still nonetheless, right?
Yeah, super epic.
If you're looking to do a tour with Elmer and have him as your guide, he literally had like over 50 5-star reviews on TripAdvisor. Didn't even have one 4-star review, just straight 5-star reviews. It's elmer360.com. Best tour guide by far. Not going to find anyone who's going to be so passionate about their job, so knowledgeable not only about the ruins itself, but the animals, the wildlife. He was showing us toucans, spider monkeys, everything. Were you baffled? The guy's a legend, yeah?
Yeah, we saw spider monkeys.